with our topic for today, and this is how to save hours of work and content creation using Custom GPT. So why am I talking about this today? I'm not an AI expert. We actually do have an AI expert today. This is Dr. Arzu Sedev, and I hope she will be able to answer your questions in case I can't. And I have questions for you, Arzu, myself in the end of the presentation. But I am a content expert. I know a thing or two because for the last 3 years, all I've been doing is content marketing for myself and my clients. And I spend really most of my day creating content. And we are talking website content, yeah, landing page copy. We are talking social media captions. We are talking newsletters, email funnels, like all of this is content. And if I didn't have a system that helped me save time, I would probably go crazy and I would like never get out of the office. Because if you want to produce high quality content that resonates with your target audience, you have to spend time researching, you have to spend time crafting it, and it just has to be good quality. In the tidal wave of content that we see now, especially most of it generic and like really badly written, mainly just like quickly thrown together by ChatGPT, we have to make an extra step to stand out, an extra effort to show people in our audience that we care, that we really want to create high quality content for them. And this is what I will be talking about today. So I'm by profession an online marketer and brand communication strategist. I build and optimize online presence for businesses. And in case we are not connected, here are my social media accounts and feel free to connect with me. I will be happy to answer all of your questions either today in the webinar, or you can shoot me an email or a DM. I'm very active on my social media, so you will see. And the topic of our conversation today is custom ChatGPT. And now I think I already asked you, right, how many of you use ChatGPT? But since some people just joined, please throw in the chat a number if you use it, 1 for yes, no for 2 for no, and how often. Like if you use it daily, give me a 1. If you use it occasionally, give me a 2. And also, are you happy with the results it produces? If you're happy, give me a 1. And if you're not so happy, give me a 2, okay? Let's have a look at your experiences. One. Stephanie is happy with all the results that ChatGPT gives, so maybe you don't even need this webinar today. Okay. Mm-hmm. Only just started using it occasionally. Well, Alessia, you're also just starting with your business, right? So the more you start posting, it will be like your daily buddy. Obsessed with this, so any webinar is great for me. Okay, so Stefan, can you also write in the comments or speak up if you ever built a custom ChatGPT, like a custom GPT? Because like nobody really knows about it when I talk to people, and I feel like this is my secret weapon, and that's why I'm sharing this knowledge today. Oh, I need to remember also that I have. Stephanie, are you talking?
If it's
Okay,
easier
yeah,
to
let me
just
know.
speak, because I started typing, but then it's like too much typing. So no, I haven't done that yet because I usually just browse the library and just select pre-made GPTs for my needs.
Okay.
So I haven't built one, but that's more like out of, because there are some that are great that have like hundreds of thousands of downloads, and I'm like, they probably a lot of work went into them. Somebody created them based on like 1,000 best practices. So that's why I usually go for this. But I've been thinking about creating my own too. So yeah, I'm open to it.
Cool. Okay, so I'm really happy that you are like familiar with this because it's a great tool and people are missing out. And like you said, there are already so many custom GPTs created in the library. I also have a few that I consistently use, especially for strategies like go-to-market strategies and marketing strategies. So they're really great. They have already really long, very well-structured frameworks based on like years of experience. So I really recommend. I have a few people in the live stream also, and I see that people on Instagram also saying that yes, they're using it almost daily and Cool. So I'm happy that you already have some experience and some knowledge, and more or less you're happy with this. So let's see how you can make it even better. So what is a custom GPT? This is basically, so this came out about a year ago, and this is basically a starter kit for your personalized agent. And you can train it to do anything you want. If you have routine tasks, if you have like routine frameworks that you repeat like day after day in your business, if you create content daily, like anything, you can train it and tailor its behavior to your business, to your brand, to your voice, yeah, tone of voice, to your style, so that it meets your specific needs. Not generic stuff that you can do with ChatGPT, because what people usually do, they will go to ChatGPT and they'll say, hey, do this for me. And if like you are good at writing prompts, you'll maybe write a nice long prompt with all the like essential elements, context, goal, and so on. And maybe it will turn out great. But what if I told you that you actually don't need to write prompts anymore once you created your custom GPT? What if I told you that actually you can create workflows that consist out of multiple prompts that you already programmed, and then you can just use them forever. And the best thing, it will not forget your prompts. Like, because if you had experience, you start a chat, you give it a prompt, and for example, you come back in a day or two and you want exactly the same prompt, and like you give the like just the task, and then it forgot what it did like the day before yesterday, and then it's kind of like not so optimal. And then you have to give the prompt again. And so if you create a custom GPT, it will remember what you told it to do, and it will have all this background information about what you want them to do. And like it will have a database of your business, of everything you wanted to know. So for example, I have one for my business, and basically use it as a copywriter for my content. I trained it on my brand voice, on my brand story. I train it on my product description, on my business description, target audience description. It knows everything about me, everything that I do. It's only available to me, obviously, so that like people don't start suddenly producing my type of content. But it saves me millions of hours. And then, for example, I also do this for customers that agree that I use their data for creating a custom GPT. And like, this is my regular customer for whom I create content, also newsletters, landing pages, website copy, social media posts. So all of this I can do with this custom GPT that's called U for Success Marketing prompt. With this, we actually do even more than content. We also write like go-to-market strategies or product service launch strategies. So it's like it's trained in many different ways, and I love it. So these two are like the best things that happened to me, and they save me a lot of time. But these ones required a long time to program because I had to really use a lot of information to train it. And today I show you how you can train it to get the similar kind of GPT for your business. But I also have a few small GPTs. So for example, I have a script ghostwriter. So if you've ever been on my Instagram account, you know that occasionally, like once a week, I produce educational videos, and they all have the same structure. They have a hook, then they have introduction to the topic that I'm opening. Then I have like the main body with 1, 2, 3, 4 steps of how to do something, and then conclusion. And so I give a topic and my bullet points of like the most important information that I want to say in this script. And it drafts me a script and a polarizing hook to grab attention. And I use it every time I want to create an educational video like this. Then my proofread buddy. So like, since I produce a lot of content and I write it myself sometimes, it's not only ChatGPT written. No, I truly write my content sometimes too. And or emails, for example. So I will just go to my proofread buddy, I'll throw my text in there, and he will follow everything, like all the criteria for a well-written text. Like, for example, I love when my texts are simple. Like, I don't like complex text. especially like, on LinkedIn, they're often so high flown, complicated language, so hard to read, takes such a long time. So I prefer when my texts are simple. So fourth or fifth grade, so to say. And so I program my proofread body so he simplifies my text, makes them more concise when they're too complicated, breaks them into shorter sentences. And also, like if I write a long paragraph, I ask him, like he's programmed to break them down into like single lines. So like the way how I want the text to look like, doesn't matter what kind of text, it will do it for me. And then I speak in English and German, and I work in English and German, but I do think in English. So sometimes it's faster for me to type an email in English and then just come to this GPT and ask him to translate it for me to German and the other way around. And why, for example, I don't use DeepL, which is like a very popular translator, is because, first of all, it doesn't take into account your style, it doesn't take into account your voice, and you also cannot put like super long texts in there. So that is why I just very quickly programmed my GPT and I use it daily. So for these three, I can share, these are very short prompts. I have them in the end of the presentation. I can share with you if you're interested. Let me have a look. There was a question or something. Do you use Plus or Pro, and what is your opinion on which option is worth it? I actually don't know which one I use. I know that I pay for 20 euros a month, and I don't know which one.
That's the plus, I think. Yeah, the pro, because I've been wondering if the pro is worth it,
Mhm.
but it's much more expensive.
Oh,
So
okay.
I think it's like, I don't know, because right now I don't know why it's not loading, but I think it's like 200 for
Mhm.
the pro, and I was wondering, is that worth it, and like how does it compare to the plus? So
Nah.
it was just a quick question in case you know,
Yeah.
because
So
I
I
have.
don't know what the Pro, I joined ChatGPT, the paid version back then when there was still a waiting list to join the paid
Yeah,
version.
yeah,
And since then I didn't change anything, and it's definitely enough for everything I do. And
yeah,
also the deep research is now available with my version. So I think that's totally fine.
yeah. Sorry to interrupt. I was just
No
curious.
worries, no worries. Of course. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. I will be very happy to answer. So how does it work? I'm going to show you a few examples. Please let me know if you can still see my screen. Yes, okay. We are in ChatGPT right now. And here I asked it, this is my program content fetch writer. And I basically to write a newsletter, all I need to do is say, can you help me write a newsletter on this topic? Give a topic. Sometimes I give him a specific ideas or takeaway messages so that like he sticks to my script. But sometimes when I'm lazy, I just give him the topic. And so because I already trained it on my voice and my style, what comes out is actually not that bad at all. It makes jokes like I would make. It is sarcastic. It is very easily written. It has listicles. It breaks things down and basically has this very simple structure like I always make: introduction, main body, some kind of like points, benefits, conclusion. And because it's trained on the work that I already done, so my case studies, it puts a real case study of a real customer of mine whose account we grew in 2 months from 1,500 followers to 4,000 followers, and who started actually. So this newsletter is about writing viral content, and this really has happened. And in the end of each email, it uses my signature, even with my emoji, and it also has further call to actions, which are basically always the same. Join the Elevate community for webinars like this, book me for content coaching, or hire my team for bigger projects. So this is a signature in the end of every newsletter. It remembers it and it produces these kind of newsletters every time. And I'm very happy with them. Sometimes I will tell him, okay, improve this and this, but mainly it is already so trained based on, I don't know, like tenth dozens of emails that I showed him as examples. He analyzed my style and now he produces what I would otherwise like need an hour to write. I'm going to show you another example for a LinkedIn post. So This one, let me start from here. So I asked him to write a LinkedIn post, dissecting Instagram strategy of an Instagram account that I really love. And basically, I told him, here's the structure of the post, how it should look like. Then he gave me a post in response to my little prompt. And then I said, okay, I didn't quite like the main point that he selected. So I decided, okay, I need to give him some context so he knows what I want to talk about. So I told him, okay, let's talk about the main guy in all the videos, roast him a little bit, make a few jokes. And then the post that he produced was so funny, was educational, and also so funny, with my signature in the end, always the same signature. And then I just gave him feedback, okay, the last post is awesome, keep it up, so that he also knows when he does a great job, so that he continues doing that great job. So these are two examples, and this was so fast, and I really use it for my content because it is very good quality. So let's continue. What do you need to create your own custom GPT? And again, so you have a lot of GPTs that are already available. And let me show you also actually where you find them. Let's go to GPT. And so this is your like regular ChatGPT. Yeah, this is how it looks like when you come there. And usually you will start typing something here, a prompt. Maybe if some of you are a bit more advanced, you will start creating projects, because if you create projects like this and pull your threads into these projects, ChatGPT will remember everything what you were talking about in those threads, like in those chats. And so you will be basically able to continue conversation. But more advanced functions are here when you go to explore GPTs. And here you can find all kinds of GPTs that are already available. So for example, so I don't know, okay, the picture ones I don't use, like picture generator or logo creator, but everything that has to do with writing or strategies you can find here, and some of them are really great. Just look at how often they're used, because most of the GPTs, for example, if I start typing go-to-market strategy, so here you will see how many people engaged with this GPT, and the more, obviously, the more trustworthy it is. So just look for the ones that are more trustworthy. And in order to create your own GPT, you need to go over here, top right, and press create. And you will see two windows like this. And the left window is the one where you're going to be programming and training your GPT, and the right one where you can test the outputs of your training. So this is where you find this information, and once you programmed it, you will press create, and you will have a few options, whether it's only available for you, whether it's available for everyone with a link, or whether it's available for everyone. It can be found in the GPT app store, basically. So just make sure that if you don't want any sensitive information to be shared, don't publish it for everyone. So now, what do you need to program your own GPT, and why are we doing this? We are doing it today. Today, I'm teaching you how you can do it so it can write content for you, and what you need so that it writes content for you, like really good content. There are many different ways how you can use it for and what you can train it for. But today we are talking about what you need so it saves you time producing content on social media, emails, websites, and so on. So we have 5 main steps. We first need to define the purpose of our GPT, what will it do? Then we need to train it with our data, all information resources that are available. And if not, maybe you want to make sure that you collect that information, and then you train it. Then you need to make sure that you fine-tune all the prompts and all the tasks that they're doing. So, okay, you have trained it with all the data. What does it do it and how does it do it? This is step 3. And then you need to test and refine. So the step 4 is when you are already using your custom GPT, you can constantly refine it, especially if you give feedback and say, okay, this was great, keep it up. It will continue producing content similarly to what you like. And in the end, this is a very advanced step. We're not going to be talking about it today much, but what you can do once you train your GPT, you can integrate it. You can integrate it as your website bot. You can integrate it with your CRMs, so customer relation management platforms. You can really take it to the next level. But today, we're going to talk about content creation with Custom GPT. So step one, define your purpose. So what is it for? Who is it for? What should it help you achieve? So these are the prompts I'm going to be showing you that I use to train my Custom GPT to write content for me. So I said I want to build a copywriter for my business who writes exactly in my voice for my target audience based on my services, specific approach and style. And these are the things that I will be using it for: writing of SEO and conversion optimized landing pages, writing of my workshop landing pages, writing webinar landing pages, writing of blog articles, emails, and social media posts. Okay, with this, I have given its purpose. Next step, I need to train it with my data. And the more, the better. And if you start now with like a limited amount of data, the more case studies you get, the more, workflows you get. Just keep updating it. And the more you provide, the more information, the more context, the better it will be. So what you can do with the custom ChatGPT is upload all relevant documents that you have. Or you can just, if you already have a website, give it your website. It will read your website information, all the texts and everything, and it will already have some context. Also define how it should answer questions, set boundaries, things that it should say, shouldn't say. And so basically, what would you need? For myself and for my clients, what we do when we start working together for creation of content or online presence is we create a communication strategy. What does it include? It includes your story as a business, as a brand, who you are, what's your mission, vision, values, founding story, personal story. Yeah, case studies, everything that's available is, okay, case studies are more, they come later. The brand story consists of this information. Then your branding also includes brand voice, examples of your written text. You can all provide it. And it will have a very good understanding of who you are as a brand, what you stand for, why are you even here working, and how you communicate with your audience. Then it obviously needs very detailed information about your product and service, case studies, and what is not here, which is, I don't know how that happened, target audience. And that's like the most important thing. And you need to spend really a lot of time programming it for your target audience. You need to explain what your target audience problems, desired outcomes, wishes. You need to give it your buyer persona. And if you don't have that information, you should really start for your business by creating a communication strategy. Because without that strategy, you can't really produce any good content. So this is an example of the prompts that I gave. I said, okay, my agency is called Content Fudge, but in fact, I'm a freelance digital marketer and content creator. I specialize in this and this and this, and you can study more information on my website. And then I have provided a ton of documents, additional presentations, webinars, workshops, case studies, everything that I have ever put into PowerPoint. And I said, okay, read this information and analyze it and extract all the essential information from it. And so this is, for example, all the documents that I have given him. It also contains the blog articles that I have written myself, all the emails, I think it was a document of 10 to 20 emails that I have written myself, newsletters. So it has all this information to study about me and my brand. So then I told him, following the so when I create communication strategy, I follow the unique value proposition framework. This is what I also do for all my clients. So basically, based on that, I give him all this information if it's not included in the documents. If it is already perfectly written out, then it will just read the document. But basically, I say, okay, this is my unique value proposition. Here are the benefits. These are my brand guidelines, with voice, with style, with personality. Now I would like you to analyze my target audience. I give all the details about my target audience, my buyer persona, everything that I have on them. Then I give him information about my tone of voice. And then I give him a few examples of my writing. And I ask him, analyze it and always write in the same style in the future. So as a result, for example, of this prompt, he returns me the analysis of my writing style, personality, and everything. And then I'm able to say, okay, yeah, this is true. No, this is not like this. I want this to be like this. And then I ask him to memorize it, and it always writes in the same way as I would write. And then, for example, if you have any more information, if you have some unique methodology, if you've been working for a long time and you've developed domain expertise and something you have like your own framework, share that so that they know, so that it knows what makes you special, so that it can also integrate it. And it won't be any kind of like salesy post. Hey, look, she's like special because she does this and this. No, it will actually very subtly integrate it in the content where it's useful. Then, for example, I gave examples of the emails that I've written before, and then I said that in the end, always finish my newsletters with this signature, and it really does it. It doesn't forget like if you were to write in a normal chat. And then I gave examples of my blog posts so that it also can like memorize and understand my writing style. And for example, a few examples of IG posts and LinkedIn posts. And then I said, okay, all LinkedIn posts should end with this signature, and memorizes it. Okay, so after you have fed all of that information about yourself, you can start fine-tuning the prompts and instructions. So I recommend you to create for yourself a very specific structure of how you would write blogs or how you would write newsletters or LinkedIn posts. And for LinkedIn posts, it's so easy. You can go to, I don't know, to Google and ask, like, search for viral LinkedIn posts and like why they went viral, because on LinkedIn, formatting is so important. It's actually sometimes more important than the content. So if, like, for example, your hook is a bit longer than something, and then you don't have like a sub hook so that people read more, then like nobody will engage. So for LinkedIn, this formatting is very important. It's so easy to do this with ChatGPT, with this custom GPT. So you don't have to like think about it yourself and waste your time when it's already predetermined, when all these rules already exist about like how the post has to be structured on LinkedIn so that it goes viral. Then just use this information, give it to your custom GPT, and it will learn it. And so basically, once you give all the instructions, practice it. So you remember we saw two windows. On the left, you teach, like you give all the instructions, and on the right, you can have a preview and you can see the outputs of your custom GPT. And so ask him to write a newsletter, for example, and then always say, okay, this was good, remember, and if something wasn't good, tell what wasn't good, tell what to change. For example, I was fighting for a while that it changes from American style and writing like optimize with Z to writing optimize with S, and like not capitalizing every word in the title. Like I hate it because in Europe we just write normal sentence case. So I was telling him all the time, okay, do that. And then he remembered. Now he writes in British English. Now he writes without capitalizing every word in a title. So this is the time where you can fine-tune your prompts. The same, for example, an example about like how I taught him to write blog articles for me, how they should be structured and so on. And for example, when I asked him to write the blog articles for me and I didn't like it, okay, I told him I want you to improve the first sentence because yours doesn't grab attention. It's very boring. Start with like everything that starts with today's digital world. If you work with ChatGPT, it's always in today's digital world, blah, blah, blah. It's so boring and so recognizable that it's ChatGPT written. So I told him not to do that. And if you see these are actual prompts that I use to program my custom GPT. That's why there are all these typos. So then, okay, wait a second, there is a question. So true. And then step 4, test and refine. So this means that whenever you start using your custom GPT, always give feedback and it will remember it and it will continue doing that. And if it's something bad, like not writing in British English for me, then like return update the instructions, and it will memorize it. Yeah, for example, long hyphens, there is this thing about like, oh, if you see a long hyphen in a text, that's ChatGPT written, which is not true, actually. I'm reading an Outlander book right now. All the hyphens there are long, and I don't think ChatGPT wrote that book. Definitely didn't. So it's just like the way to write it. But if you don't want it, or you don't want people to think that ChatGPT wrote it for you, just like program your custom GPT to not use long hyphens. Yeah, and whenever you get fresh data, fresh examples, fresh stories, fresh testimonials, keep giving it, keep updating it, and it will really become your personalized agent. So just to show you very quickly how you can update it. So we are back in ChatGPT, and I'm going now to my content fetch writer, and here on top, I can press Edit GPT. And basically everything that I give him now, like any kind of changes, I will just need to press update here on top. And the best thing, if you did something wrong and like you realize now it like doesn't work anymore for you, it writes worse than it did before, you can go to version history and restore previous versions. So don't be afraid that like you can screw it up. In case you do, you can always go back to the good version and then just try again, do the updates that you wanted, and maybe like try different prompts so that you don't ruin your GPT that already exists. Okay, and step 5, just a few examples of what you can do, like how you can take your custom GPT further. You can take that trained guy and use it for customer service, for example. You can integrate it on your website. There are plugins for WordPress websites. I'm sure there are other tools for other website platforms. You can also integrate it for automated email responses in your customer relationship management. So for example, I use ActiveCampaign, works well. Yeah, there are other solutions. You can use it for Slack and Teams. You can use it as email auto-response. For example, on social media, you can integrate it to have FAQs and to have automated responses. You need a ManyChat automation software, if you know that one. I use it constantly, but I don't connect it with ChatGPT because I usually like align it with the post just once. But if like your business is active and you have recurring questions, always the same, you can automate the FAQs and other common responses, and you can integrate it in your e-commerce platforms. So there are really many things that you can do further, how you can take it further. But even how it is already just working on OpenAI website, just working with your custom GPT is really a time saver. So what do I use it? I already mentioned, but like I use it now for all newsletters. And because I'm a single woman show, like I'm a freelancer, although I don't like that word, but like I am alone in my business. I do have trainees, but they usually help me with my client work. But for myself, I have to do all these things. And like we have to produce as businesses a lot of content these days. So like if we are doing it alone on our own, like how to survive, I don't know, without a system like this. So for example, I have my newsletter plan, right? I have outlined all the topics that I want to talk about, all the main bullet points, like takeaway messages that every newsletter should have. And then I ask ChatGPT to write it for me. I fine tune it, what I don't like. And then I set them up to be sent automatically with my CRM, with ActiveCampaign. Then all websites text. For example, so I create websites for my clients and I also fill them up with copy because I am a trained copywriter, but it also takes a lot of time to write the text yourself. So we create a strategy, the brand story, all the most important information is there. I just use ChatGPT and my custom GPTs to extract the most important information and place it where it belongs on the landing page. So for example, because most of the landing pages have the same structure. And the same information goes like you have headline, you have body copy, then you have UVP section, then you have social proof section. And so basically, based on all this information that you provided to your custom GPT, it can extract all the most important information and give you good texts and LinkedIn posts. So I'm a meta person. I love videos. If you've ever been on my Instagram account, you see all the silly videos that I constantly post, and I love it. And I'm not a LinkedIn person because it's just too fake for me somehow. But I do need to be there as a professional. So I train my GPT to write the posts for me exactly how I want based on the proven formulas. And I'm happy with this because if I were to do all of this work on my own, like I said, I would never get out of the office. But how can you use it further? Like, what can you do? If you have workflows that consist of multiple steps that are long, for example, strategies, marketing strategies, you can create a GPT or find one that already exists because there are so many that are already so good based on like experiences of professionals. But you can also create it yourself, especially if you have a unique methodology. The thing for these, for strategies and the output that they give, especially if you use it for like client work, for example, if you're a brand strategist and you use Custom GPT to write a brand strategy for your client, you have to have domain expertise to actually know that the output makes sense. Because if you don't know anything about branding and the GPT spits something out and you give it to your client and it's going to harm you. And so don't do it for things like you know nothing about. You can, so like my suggestion, create like 30 strategies first, make sure that they really work, and only then program your own custom GPT to create the same kind of work for you. So even though I create so many communication strategies all the time, I still have not programmed my custom GPT to do that because I need to make sure that I see results based on my strategies. And only when I know, okay, these strategies and these frameworks that I use bring results, only then I can program it so that it actually gives good output for my clients. But if you have worked already for many years and you have your framework, you have the step-by-step instructions, try it, really do it. It will save you time. I think essentially in the end, all these things like marketing, brand strategies, go-to-market strategies, all the people who do them will be partially replaced, or the smart ones will learn to use it. So they save themselves a lot of time. For example, I wrote here CVs because in our community we have a recruiter, and I wanted to let her know that she optimizes applications, job applications for her clients, and I wanted to tell her that she can ask ChatGPT to learn the information about their clients and extract all the most like important points in the CV. And you can do audits and analysis. So for example, if you offer website optimization or copy optimization and you have like specific processes, how you do it. So you can program it and then give a website to your custom GPT and say, okay, make an audit and say what works, what doesn't. Or maybe you do like SWOT analysis for businesses. You can use it the same. Like there is Arzu here, our AI specialist, and we were doing in the summer communication strategy for her, and we made a ginormous Excel list with competitor analysis. We had like all the same columns in that Excel list, and basically I was manually researching this information and extracting it. But as a matter of fact, I could train a custom ChatGPT to say, okay, go to these websites and extract this information and put it in a table, and yeah, and then I would just need to go through it and check if it's true, but it would save me a lot of time, like reading all that stuff. And yeah, and you can even use it as a plan care assistant. Like I've looked through all the GPTs that are already there, and I found a plan care assistant. I started using it because my plans die all the time. And that's it. That was a very quick overview of how you can create your own custom GPT in case you want this presentation so that you can use the prompts. I also have the prompts in the end for the small GPTs that I use. And if you want to program your own with the prompts that I use here, I can share this presentation. Just email me, okay? Then, or I don't know, DM me, and I will give it to you without a problem. Okay, and I actually have a question now to Arzu. Arzu, as an AI specialist who knows everything about AI and law, can you tell me how okay is it that I would be, for example, if I were to use it for making a marketing strategy for a client of mine, how okay is it that I give ChatGPT information about my client? Or do I need a consent from my client that I'm giving it to ChatGPT? Like, can you talk
Yeah,
about it a little bit?
yeah, actually, you need a consent because this is not only because of data privacy, but also of protecting, of course, the data of the company. So then there might be trade secrets in it. So that's a very important thing. So you should always, before you put something like information about the customer or its company into the ChatGPT, you should always talk to him and receive consent to do that. So then you should be safe, and you should also tell him what you're going to do. And maybe it's also good to know what actually ChatGPT does with it, because what ChatGPT does is it trains its own model with your data if you do not opt out. So that's the issue.
Okay,
Because
where does one opt in or opt out?
you can do that on the website OpenAI, but it doesn't work for the free version. So it only works for the paid versions. And it starts with, let me just have a short look on that so I can tell you.
And if I opt out, it will not memorize the information that I provide.
And no, it's not about memorizing for you. It's about training the model. So the problem with the training is that it can then use your information to create new content based on your information, and that you for sure don't want to do. So that is what I did. So I opted out, and it starts with the, let me just look at the plus version. There you can do it, and there are other the enterprise version and the team version. There, ChatGPT, I mean OpenAI says that it doesn't train the model with your data on default, so you don't have to opt out there.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure if this was clear now, but if you have just this 20 euro version, then you have to do the opt-out. And if you
Yeah.
have paid versions that are higher, then OpenAI says, okay, we are not training our data, our model with your data.
Yeah. Okay, good to know. Yeah, so I don't create any of these GPTs for my clients yet, but I will consider it in the future for communication strategies because it's always the same workflow. So I will integrate it in my contracts and stuff, like if they want it. Because in the end, if there is a custom GPT like this, because like what I do, I try to automate things and help my clients save time in the end. So if I could create a GPT like this in my experience, I'm sure that would be also helpful for them. So this is something that I plan to do.
Yeah, of course, but just to be safe, just take the consent. I don't think that anybody will say no. So just that you both are safe and that your customer knows that this is happening. That's it, actually.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, Arzu. Okay, do we have any more questions? If we have no more questions, I want to thank you again for attending today. I hope you learned something useful, and I really do hope you will use it. I have said it a million times already today, but it does save me so much time, and I wish it also for you that you don't stress so much about all the content that you have to create. And in case you have any questions in the future, you can contact me. You can contact me per email or phone or DMs on social media. Okay? All right, then I wish you all a fun weekend